There. Right, so it is a focus on the glutes today, and we're going to start down on the floor, just giving our hip flexors a wee bit of a stretch out first, okay? So if you bring your right foot forwards and your left knee back. Now if you need, you can put a little towel in underneath your kneecap, you know, to help protect that knee if it feels sore. Okay, so we're just going to drop the hips down towards the floor and feel a nice stretch across the front of that left hip. So we're just trying to release and stretch out these hips before we start working them. Okay, and then come backwards a little bit and then forwards. So we're just releasing and then stretching. Release off, press down. And you always want to check in with this knee, your front knee. Make sure that it doesn't go, you haven't got your foot back and your knees going forwards over your ankle, because that just puts a bit too much pressure on your knee joint. Okay, do another one on this side. And you can even try bringing your arms out to the side or stretching your arms up. It gives a nice stretch up the side of the body as well, if you feel balanced enough. Okay, then we'll swap over and do the other leg. So bring your left foot forwards. That's it. And then start pressing down, feeling this good stretch. And then release a little bit. And then press down. Good. And release. Play around with the arms. Maybe stretching up. Good, and one more. Brilliant. Okay, then we're going to come down onto our elbows. So elbows underneath shoulders, so shoulder width. And then there's different options here. So you can stay resting on your knees like this, or you can come up into an elbow forearm plank. Okay, so that's where you lift your knees off and your legs are straight. So then we're going to do straight leg lifts. Okay, so this is to work into the glutes and the lower back muscles. So I'm just going to show you from the knees first. So if you straighten out your right leg, toes pressing down towards the floor, and then lift from the glutes and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. If you're going from the knees, we'll do about 5 or 6 on one leg. If you're coming from the toes, just alternate right and left. Okay, or from the knees. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Brilliant. I'm just checking you. Good. Last couple. Okay. Then down onto your knees and push back for a moment into child's pose. So pushing your bum down towards the heels and stretch forwards. Just get your breath back. Lovely. Then come forwards and we're going to come down onto our tummies. Okay? So you can put your hands one on top of the other and then rest your forehead down onto your hands. Perfect. And we're going to lift these legs again, okay, from this position. So if you always think of lifting from the hip and the glute. All right, so we'll do one leg individually and then we'll do both together. So nice breath in, then on your out breath, lift the right leg and lower. Then lift the left leg and lower. Then both together and lower. Good. Lift the right. Lift the left. And lift both together. Pressing your pubic bone down into the floor when you lift both legs together. Good, right, then left, and then both together. Feeling a really good, tight squeezing in the glute muscles. Now, if it feels uncomfortable or anything, you can also bring your hands down and put your hands in kind of underneath your hip bones and lift from there. And just see if that helps a little bit. Good. Right leg, left leg, both together. Let's do one more round. Finishing with both together. And then pushing back into your child's pose or shell stretch again, just to stretch out that lower back. So pushing hips down as close to the feet as you can manage and just stretch forwards. Good. Okay, brilliant. Then we're going to come down onto our backs. So if you come down to the end of your mat, and we'll do a nice proper Pilates roll down. So feeling each section of your spine roll down and connect onto the floor. Hands either in underneath your knees or released. So breathe in with a nice straight back. And then on your out breath, draw the abdominals in, round the spine. And lower yourself down onto the floor. Good. Okay, then we're going to get into neutral pelvis and go into some nice shoulder bridge. We're going to do 3 or 4 different types of bridge, okay? So starting off with your feet hip width apart and knees hip width apart. Starting in neutral pelvis with a little bit of lightness in underneath the small of your back. Hands just resting on the floor beside you. Take a breath in. Then on your out breath, tilt the pelvis back, pressing the lower back into the floor. Lift the glutes, squeeze the glutes, start to roll and peel your spine up off the floor. Hold in the top position for an inhale. And then exhale. Lower the spine back down. And release. Pelvis forwards to neutral, I should say. Good, and then back again. Breathing out. Lift. Nice squeeze of the glutes. And then curl back down and lower. Good. We'll do 3 more. Squeeze, really make sure that you squeeze everything that could possibly be squeezed. I'm trying to get that feeling of the spine moving 1 vertebra at a time. Good. I think it's 1 more. Here I go with my problems of counting up to 5 again. Squeeze and lower. Lovely. Good. Now if you can bring your feet and knees together, so your feet are touching and your knees are touching, and really squeeze, okay? So we're going to really work these inner thigh muscles now. So you're squeezing your knees together. Now breathe in, and then on your out breath, tilt, roll, and lift. Squeeze, 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 and then release on the way down. Good. 4 more. I'll try my best not to lose count. Good. Exhaling, lift. Squeeze, feel that up right up into your inner thigh muscles. And then lower. Try not to let the knees come apart at any point. Good. Breathe out, lifting up. Squeeze, hold, and breathe in. And then breathe out, lowering back down. Good. 2 more. Breathe out, lift. Excuse me. Squeeze and lower. And last one like this. Breathe out, roll back and lift. And lower back down. Lovely. Now bring your feet out wide. So you have your heels kind of at the edge of your mat and your feet, your toes pointing out. So your toes are really off the edge of your mat. And then 5 lift and lowers from here. Okay, so breath in. Then on your out breath, tilt that pelvis and then lift. And you should feel this now more around the outside of your glutes. And then lower. Good. 4 more. Squeeze when you're at the top. And then lower down. Feeling each section of your spine reconnect. Tilt the pelvis at the bottom. And then tilt it back before you lift. Squeeze. Lovely. Lower. 2 more. Roll back, lift. And roll down. Good, last one. Roll back down. And release. Good, now bring your feet back to the hip width distance. And we're going to do some single leg ones now, okay? So lift the hips up. Now get steady. You might want to bring your feet a little smidge further back in. Now we're going to lift the right leg and point it up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to lower and lift the bum, the hips down to the floor 5 times. Not worrying too much about the rolling and articulation of the spine. So just drop and press. 1. Drop. Press. 2. Good. 3. 4. 5. Lower that right foot down. Quick switch. Left leg comes up. And then lower the hips and lift. 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Good. Then lower the hips, lower the leg, and just give both of your knees a little hug in towards the tummy, which gives you a lovely stretch over the glutes and into your lower back. Brilliant. Okay, then from here we're going to come over onto all fours. Now you might want to make sure you've got enough room because we're going to be lifting our leg in a nice kind of rainbow up and over to each side. So make sure you're not going to knock anything over with your feet. I'll show you briefly what it means. We're going to be doing a big arching up and over like that, okay? Good, perfect. All right, so we'll start with the right leg first. So begin with your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread the fingertips out nice and wide, so you're pressing the weight of the body onto the fingers as well as the back of the hands, and that can help to relieve the wrists a wee bit. Now straighten out your right leg. We're just going to do 5 little lift and lowers first. So lifting from the glute, just lift and lower, lift and lower. Trying not to get too much into a twist of the pelvis. So think about your left hip bone and have it still pointing down towards the floor. Last one, lift and lower. Good. All right, now we're going to bring that right foot around to the right hand side, just as wide as you can manage. Tap the toe down. Then come up into a lovely arc and rainbow, and then tap that right foot over to the left hand side. Then rainbow it back over to the right hand side, and back over to the left. We're going to do 5 on each. Back over to the right, over to the left. 2 more. Over to the right, up and over to the left. 1 more. Over to the right, up and over to the left. Good. Bring that right knee back underneath the hip. Just adjust your position of your mat if you need to, so you're not going to hit things. Good. Okay. Now left leg. Stretch it out behind you. And we'll do 5 lift and lowers first. So lift and lower, toe to the floor. Good. 2 and lower. 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Now bring that left foot up to the outside on the left side. Lovely big arch as far as you can manage. Up and over to the right. Back up over to the left. Back up over to the right. Good. Back up and over to the left. Up as high as you can and over to the right. 2 more. Over to the left. Back up over to the right. Last one each side. Over to the left. Swoop up and over to the right. Brilliant. Bring that left knee in underneath the hip and just push back again into your child's pose. Stretch the head forwards and the arms forwards. Perfect. Good. Okay, now onto your side. So if we start down on our right hand side first. Okay, so propped up on your elbow if you want, or just flat out on the arm. Whichever is more comfortable for you, whichever you prefer. We're going to do the clam, a mixture, sort of a combination of clam and straight leg lift. So make sure, we're going to start with the legs, both the legs bent. Make sure your hips are stacked, so check in with the knees. Make sure top knee isn't lying behind or in front of that underneath knee. Excuse me. And we're going to do 3 clam opens, and then 3 straight leg lifts. We'll do 4 rounds of that on each side, okay? So the clam, to begin with, we're going to keep the heels connected. So breathe in, prepare, then on your out breath, open that top knee, and then lower. Good, and again, lift, heels stay together, and lower. Lift, and lower. Good, now straighten out that top leg. Now lift, and lower. Lift, and lower. Lift, and lower. Bend the top leg again, heels connected. Open into the clam, and close. Good, lift, and lower. 3, and lower. Straighten out your top leg. Lift, and lower. Good. Up, and down. One more, up, and down. Bend the knees, heels come together. Open the knee, wide as you can manage without your pelvis rolling back. Good, up, and down. Lift, and lower. Straighten out that top leg. Lift, and lower. Lift, and lower. One more. Good, one more of each. So bend the knee, heels together. Open and close. Open and close. One more. Lift and lower. Straighten out the leg. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Last time. Lift and lower. Perfect. Good. Now roll over onto your left side. And we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so starting with your heels connected, check your knees are stacked. Breathe in on the out breath. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. One more with bent knee. Good, now straighten out the top leg. Lift and lower. Good. Up and down. One more, up and down. Bend the knee again, heels together. Open and close. Lovely. Open and close. Open just as wide as you can without rolling back. And close. Good. Straighten out the leg. Lift and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Bend the knee again, heels together. Open and close. Open and close. One more. Lift and lower. Straighten out the leg. Lift and lower. 2 more. Up and down. Up and down. Good. Is that 2 rounds? Or 3? 3, 2, 2. Good. 2 rounds. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so 2 more rounds. So knees bent. Thank goodness you're here. Okay, open the knees and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Now straighten out your leg. Lift and lower. I kind of get into a trance of just going through the movement, and then I completely lose count. Lift and lower. One last round now of each. Heels together. Open the knees. 1 and lower. 2 and lower. 3 and lower. Stretch out the leg, lift and lower, lift and lower. Last one, lift and lower. Well done. Okay, we're going to finish then with a little pigeon stretch, okay, which is great for hips and glutes. So if you start with your right leg, so we just bring the right knee up to the top of the mat. Try and bring the foot just up. Now I know everybody's knees and hips don't like this position, so if you're just like this, that's fine. But if you can bring that foot up slightly, then go on ahead and do that. Get your hips then facing down towards the floor, so you're not rolling back. And then we just slide the left leg back, bringing the hips down as close to the floor as possible. And then try and bend as far forwards as you can. You should feel a really sort of horrible but lovely stretch around the outside of the right glutes area. And just hold, breathe. Good, and then come back up. And swap sides, just take your time getting into the position. So left leg comes forwards. Bring the foot up a little bit if you can. Get your hips pointing down towards the floor. Then slide your right leg back, pressing the hips down as close to the ground as possible and bend forwards. Now don't worry if you have to stay up here, if you can't quite come down onto the floor. Just get to wherever feels okay for you. And just hold and breathe. Good, last couple of breaths. Brilliant. And release, just come out of that. One final push back into your child's pose or shelf stretch, pushing the bum down onto the heels or as close to the heels as you can, just stretching forwards. Good. And you're done. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if there's any questions or any of it wasn't clear if you're watching the recording. Okay, see you soon. Bye. I'll come and talk to the live girls now.